use a slightly damp sponge, so it shouldn't be too wet. Whoops.
Now, do you prefer, do you suggest a sponge or steel wool?
Sponge.
Sponge?
Yeah, I know a lot of people use steel wool, but just an old habit. Steel wool probably even works better, but most soldering stands will come with it. Okay, so we have a problem right away here, so, which is okay because I have a solution. Okay, but I'm going to do that second.
Okay.
Let me show you how to splice wire first, because this is a slightly advanced project. Slightly. Let's heat up. I usually set it to about the highest temperature.
Where do we buy this?
Jameco, almost any place.
What about Amazon? Do you think they're...
Yeah, you can. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. The
As-
problem is, if you look at these tips, this is kind of a pain. Tips get destroyed really, really quickly, and you have to constantly clean it with a sponge and melt clean solder on it. This actually isn't such a good one. I just got this one, and I'm not that happy with it.
Amazon special?
No, I think I got this from, I don't remember. I got a whole bunch because we got a bunch in the lab recently too, and they're not so great either. I have some old ones that I used for years that were fantastic, and they don't make them anymore. So I'm trying a whole bunch of new ones.
Why do you have to put solder in the tip?
So the tip, if it gets dried out, it won't hold the solder anymore. So basically, you want to make sure that it's constantly shiny, and then when you apply it to the wire, the solder is just going to roll right off the tip. If you see I've got a piece sticking there, that's a really bad sign. And actually, I might need to do a little work on this tip before it works. We'll see. So as it's warming up, especially the first time, if you don't do this the first time you use a soldering iron, you'll ruin the tip right away. So it's starting to heat up, getting a little shiny, and you just want a shiny coat on that soldering chip. See, it's looking shiny already? That's a good sign. As long as it looks shiny, you can use it. So it melts pretty easily. I can rub it off. You smell that rosin smell?
Yeah.
So that smoke that's coming off is coming from the rosin. Yeah, I actually waste a lot of solder this way, but I don't know any way around it. Now that's a nice clean solder tip, so I can use this. So the first thing I'm going to do is check the wire. I'll cut off a piece here and strip a really short amount, like about maybe a centimeter off. And this one's solid, so I don't want to use this one. Let's try this one. This one's stranded. So I prefer to use stranded, and I'm going to take two pieces. I'll put two pieces together.
When would you use the solid one? Just like for parts that are not moving?
Yeah, if something's fixed in place, you can use solid wire.
What's the benefit of using solid wire?
That's a good question. I don't know.
So there isn't?
No, I mean, it's easier to use.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, I have to do a few extra steps here. For example, when you use stranded wire, you have to twist the strands, because otherwise they flay out, and then you have to tin them. So it's called twisting and tinning. So the first step is to twist them, and then it's easier to do this if you have helping hand like this, but I don't usually use helping hand. I just use the natural stiffness of the solder, and I'll take the iron and make sure it's nice and smooth and shiny. Now, because metal conducts heat really, really well, I don't want any remnant on there. You do run the risk of burning yourself a little bit here, because that heat's going to travel through the wire really quickly. But I'm only going to be touching the iron for a second. And I'm going to melt that solder into the... There, now I have a nice shiny wire. And it's not going to flay. It's not going to... Flay is not the right word. What happens when wire spreads out? Frayed, thank you,
Frayed.
frayed
Yeah.
is the word I was looking for. So now these two pieces are twisted and pinned, and now they're ready to be spliced together. Now, some people will just put them together like this and melt the solder. I don't do that. And one of the reasons is I don't trust the mechanical connection, so it could be bent and broken. So what I usually do when I'm splicing stranded wire is I'll take a pair of needle nose pliers and hook each end like this. And this is where I'm going to need your helping hands, I think. So once you hook each end, now if I pull apart here, this is going to be an incredibly strong mechanical connection. It's not going to bend and it's not going to break. So I'll squeeze these into place. And the other nice thing about this is it gives me the continuity of, you know, the line of the wire pretty nicely. I'll squeeze these into place. This is a very personal technique. I don't know, like if you go look it up on YouTube, if you'll find other people do this or not.
I've had another professor who did the same thing.
Does it this way?
Yeah, this makes it easier.
Yeah, and you see even now, it's already holding in place even without reheating the solder. And now because both of the tips are tin, I will hold it in place. Because if I don't hold it in place, I do run the risk when I melt the solder of having it right. It won't work, but this mechanical connection might, it'll act like a hinge and just drop. Actually, that's usually what I do. I'll in this particular case, I'll hold it in place. And all I have to do here is apply heat to the joint, and the two ends are going to come together. And that's probably all I need to do. And just hold it for a second while it dries.
Can you? It's possible to over solder things and stuff.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is,
You only want to keep it on there for a second.
yeah, just for a second. And you
What
don't want
happens
it.
when you over solder?
Well, it depends. If you over solder here, probably nothing. If you over solder on a circuit board like this, this is where you really run into trouble, because it's really difficult to solder parts onto a board without having the solder leak. So it'll spread from this and connect that. And that's the most common kind of soldering problem you're going to run into, is that you create a short between two parts on the board by using too much solder.
Got it.
So soldering onto a circuit board, especially like these surface mount components, is really challenging.
Now, do you recommend putting like a shrink wrap over the exposed
So
area?
we're not quite done yet.
All right.
So shrink wrap is good. I just always use electrical tape. I also have another rule. It's a really good rule. It's saving me a lot of trouble. Anything that connects to the positive lead of your power supply should use red wire. Anything that connects to ground should use black wire. Everything else should be a different color. So in that way, when you look at a circuit, you know right away it's connecting to power, it's connecting to ground. And then I'll also use red tape for this joint, and I just give it a little bit of a twist. I don't have a pair of scissors right now.
What do you
so
mean
this is going to
connected
be
to
ugly.
ground?
So you know every power supply, like a battery, has power and ground. It's got a positive and a negative terminal. So anything that connects to the positive terminal should be red. Anything that connects to the negative terminal should be black. And anything else in the circuit should be a different color. Green, blue, white, whatever.